Is it the worst thing in the world? No, but I do think this is not ideal. So the round one is this guy. Round one, I think they gave me a coupon for 20% off too, if you guys are interested in that. I think it's just Alex1. Again, I have no review or anything on the round one, so this is just us talking about it. I have no idea. This seems to be a very popular keyboard overseas. Like I was reading some other comments and reviews, and I just did some research on the brand and stuff too. They are a manufacturing company, it seems. So they can keep the prices a smidge lower because they kind of cut out the middleman, but it does have some pretty glowing reviews on YouTube from what I've seen from other content creators overseas. They actually have these really cool bags that come with some of these units, which we'll go over, but the round one has an RGB strip around the top, which is interesting. And then this one here also has that level 1 and level 2, which is A stock and B stock. So they are selling B stock units, and they tell you about those things in the other page here. I have no idea what the round 1 sounds like. The round 2, this is slated to ship in November, will have a few different versions. The round 2 seems to start at 150. This G tray thing is interesting. I don't know if I love it, and I will explain why as we build the keyboard. But it does have vial support, not via. Whatever, I'm still good with vial. Either way, I'm happy that it's using something a little bit more open. So good on them for that. It is gonna be wired only. And then the bag only comes with the Ultra version, which is 180 bucks. You can just buy the bag too, yeah. The bag's 50 bucks. They sent me the bag too, which I'll show you guys today. I like how they're specific about A, B. Yeah, that's the one thing I actually really appreciate about them, but it's a little confusing. They have a level 1 and a level 2. The level 2 is B stock. The level 2 you can get cheaper. It tells you over here what to expect from each one. I like that. There's a lot of clarification on what you're supposed to get. There's also clarification on line 1 and line 2, being when you're supposed to get this. I appreciate all the transparency that they're giving here. Very, very nice here. And again, depending on which version you get, the round one has the RGB on the top, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't love as much as this new version. The new version has it in the front. It has an SD card reader, people talking that the speeds on it aren't that fast. But I mean, it does have a card reader. So still pretty nice for people who don't maybe care for speed, they just want just something embedded in the keyboard. And it does have some USB-A's as well. We did get the Ultra with flex cuts. It's fine, they do have one without. I wish they had sent me both PCBs. It's okay though, I really do wish they sent me both. But there's a lot of different colors too. It's an interesting looking board. Again, I can already tell you I have some reservations that I'd like to kind of actually assemble and see how I feel. We'll see for sure. And then also, I think they also gave me a coupon code for free shipping, which is just Alex2. So if you just type in Alex2, I think that's free shipping. Well, let's take a look at the board. They said there were 2 colors. Whatever color I unbox first is the color we'll build. So this is the box. I couldn't get some of this plastic off. I don't know, it's like stuck to this or whatever. I guess we'll show one thing at a time here. I think this has to be one of the coolest additions I have ever seen in a keyboard, by the way. Like, truly. This has to be one of the neatest things. Even the patch is kind of cool. I could sit here and gush about this. The Ultra ones come with the messenger bag. Look at this. It has pockets. You can buy these separately, it seemed. But I was genuinely like blown away. I already took a look at this beforehand, by the way, because I was genuinely that curious. The stitching looks good. Yeah, the only gripe I think maybe I would say is maybe wish this was a bit more padded on the inside. It seems like it's just made to be like a regular tote. I don't think this is like made to be specifically for keyboards. Very impressed with this. Now, here's the board itself, which we'll unbox. The accent piece for the back, the tray, and that's everything inside the box. It comes in at max, I think, $199. I don't think you can get higher than that. I don't think there's a possible way that I managed to get it higher than $199 with the bag included. So this keyboard works on a tray system. So you essentially slide these trays in, and they've given you these pieces of like Teflon that you're supposed to put on the bottom of the board to help it slide. It's an interesting concept. From what I can visualize, there might be a smidge of a flaw with this kind of concept, but it is interesting. I've always wanted to see a keyboard done with like a slide-in tray where you can just pop it in and out to kind of edit things on your board. It does have 2 USB-A, the USB-C for your standard, plug into your computer, and it has an SD card slot. I wish we didn't get the flex cut version, but it is fine. Whatever manufacturer they used for these stickers Like, these stickers are so heavy duty, dude. Holy crap. Oh my god, another one of these stickers. What else do we have in here? Oh! You know, I was just complaining the stickers are heavy duty and they give you a sticker pack. Hey, you know what? I'm here for this. This is like a fun little package of things. The silicone. Now the silicone, I don't know if this is supposed to be like mandatory, but I mean, I think we probably will end up using it today. And then we have the RG, or no, this is the ruler. This I didn't really quite understand. They're giving this as like a gift, which is like a PCB ruler type thing. I mean, it is what it is. It's fun, I guess, you know? It's cool. It's to measure your desk. I guess so. I don't see a purpose in this. The stickers are fun. The ruler, whatever. We have our cable, and then we have some foam, which I do plan on using at least the foam today. So this is the keyboard case itself. You can see how tall this front height is, but it does kind of have this, I mean, I guess they did this just so they can have this large LED thing in the front. You know, we have this ruler. Let's use it. Let's see what the ruler tells us. Probably one of the highest I've used recently, but I've used higher keyboards. Looks like to be 24 millimeters. Feet are pre-installed. There's no weight on this guy at all. So I'm hoping there's no resonance. This is a plateless only build. It does come in a solderable version. I don't know if I agree with hot swap plateless. It's a dual function PCB. I forgot about that. So you guys can see it's either solder or hot swap, depending on how you want to do, which is interesting. I've never seen something like that before. I remember that being in the notes. The back's actually pretty cool. I like this. I like the exposed hardware too. Reminds me a little bit of the Boop, no? Actually a pretty neat side profile too. Interesting looking board for sure. These Teflon strips are recommended to go on the bottom of this thing, from what I understand, just so it glides easier. A lot of options in the PCB, which I can appreciate, but it does look like, depending on how we want to build this board, we'll have to either sacrifice south or north facing for, I think it's what, the solderable will be the opposite way. So that might be an issue for some people who, for me, I've never had a problem with it, but some people genuinely do have problems with north facing stuff and south facing stuff. So interesting PCB. I would have much preferred a non-flex cut version. It does have an SD card reader, yeah. Look how many LEDs it has. That's crazy. Interesting. I've never seen something like this before. So it has solder pins as well as hot swap. The gaskets are applied already for you. However, it seems like, oh, the gaskets are in the case and on the PCB. Interesting, okay. It's a busy PCB for sure. Is this the first time I've ever seen something like this? Have we ever seen something with hot swap and solder built in together? An LED just fell off. Well, that's not good. We might not have a working LED on this. Okay, so that's something I will bring up. Oof. Yeah, that's the problem with wrapping things like this. This should have been wrapped, in my opinion, because this could have been banging up against this over here. I'm gonna grab the other PCB from the other box, and I'll let them know about this one. I think this can actually be soldered back on, but for now, duly noted that one of the diodes fell off. These are really tall LEDs, so they were probably banging up against this. So I will note that to the company because that is not a good sign. So yeah, it seems like if we wanted to do this, you would either hot swap it this way, which is your regular orientation, or if you wanted to do solder, you would just stick it in like that. This board has a lot of interesting things going for it, huh? It's quite unique in that sense. I think it could be better in some. For example, I would love to see the front height lowered, at least to 20. I think that's possible too, because I do feel like this is a very thick keyboard. Now comes the other part that I'm very curious about as well, and that is installation of this unit here. So, interesting. So this just slides in this way. And this is how you install the board. So wait, how do they machine the inside? Is this awkward to slide in though? See, this is what I don't think might work for me. Okay, so you slide it in like that. You do have to put some pressure, which I'm worried might damage the internals. However, I don't think you can install this with the switches already done for you. So if you're doing a solderable version, how do you get the switches in? I saw someone else talk about this, asking if it was possible to do solder. So I guess some criticism to them. I like the idea going on. I applaud them doing something different. I really do, because this is unique in a lot of different ways. I do think this could have been better implemented with a better way to kind of slide this in. The price seems good for what it is. I like the USB-A's. The SD card reader's cool, not necessary, but cool. The extras in the box, like the messenger bag, fun, I appreciate it. What else do you get? I mean, you get a solder and hot swap PCB built into one. Flex cuts, whatever, but they do have a non-flex cut version, sure. Do we have a lot of compatibility with this? We have, split bottom. So if you guys want, you can do split spacebars too. But that seems to be about it. No step caps lock, no ISO, no split backspace, just a lot of spacebar options. You can do 7U actually. Can you do 7U? So no, you can do 6.25U or something else. Interesting. These are X-ray switches, yeah. I'm not gonna use the silicone it came with just because I don't want silicone. I don't know, I heard the sound tests with it and I thought it sounded, I could have used this actually to hold in the switches. I didn't really want to use the silicone. If you guys want to hear the silicone, I swear everybody on YouTube has done silicone. So you guys can check out the silicone there. I do think 1.2mm PCB with flex cuts feels incredibly delicate. I guess we should do it like this. Let's plug it in, see if it turns on. You can see some of the glow here on the bottom. Is the foam in the right direction? Yes, I believe the foam was. The big spot should be in the spacebar. No, I think here, let's take another look. I think the foam is in the right, oh no, did I have it right to begin with? I did have it right to begin with. The foam goes like this, so it doesn't block the LEDs. Oh, that's what those teeth are there for. Okay, that would make way more sense. Okay, I do see a smidge of a problem though, which is a little frustrating. The washer is too close to this tray. So we can push it in though, but it doesn't make for a really good build experience there. Jesus, this has, even with the foam, this just do you guys see this? I mean, interesting. Let's make sure it turns on still. It's just a washer, it's fine. Yeah, but you still want to make sure it's a good build experience overall. LEDs are all working, everything looking good. Now comes the real test, which is installing this. So the idea is to make this just a tray that you slide in, right? Okay, so this does not clear it. You would have to push down. Yeah, it does not clear it. So it does not work that way. So it looks like you would have to push down all the stems here and then slowly slide it in, which I do not agree with. I think that's a little ridiculous and feels really bad doing so. I think the idea is, this is finicky. I would open up the tolerances a little bit more. Is it the worst thing in the world? No, but I do think this is not ideal. Again, I think they maybe thought this was supposed to be a, hey, just install the switches while everything's pushed in. But I think this is too finicky. Taking this out seems like it's a pain in the ass too. So that's something else you're gonna have to really be cautious for. All right, let's see how the alignment fits for all this stuff too, because I was concerned about this a smidge. I don't know, this aligns pretty nicely. Am I missing a part to this? You left the metal piece? Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I missed a part. Hold on, we have to take it out. But you know what? Good that we have to do that, because this goes on the top that pushes down on the top there. So let's take out now. Let's see how it is taking it out. I wanted to do that anyways. Even this is not the easiest. I think it's an interesting concept. Execution, not 100% there. So I guess what's the expectation for sliding this out? This is incredibly weird to slide out. They need some sort of better way to slide. This is hot swap and I really think this is too tricky. There's no good way that I can see to pull this out. And again, it's an interesting concept. I just think it's very flawed in execution. Take out all the switches first. I'd rather not. I want to see if you had to do a solder build, how do you remove this? That is my whole thing here, okay? I want to see how this works because this is not pulling out very nicely here at all. Not really. So this part goes here, from what I understand. I had missing screws. Yeah, I think we're missing screws on this. In which case, I might have to deduct some points here. Okay, this bag has screws, but the other bag, to my knowledge, I didn't see any screws in that other bag. So the other box does, but this one here did not. I don't think it did. This is no bueno. Seems like a good way to break something. Yeah, so, okay, I have a few points of criticism for this. I don't think it's an overall, like, terrible product. Because, again, I like when people are creative with things. I think this is fun for that. There's also no threaded inserts on this, which is a big problem. I appreciate the want to do something a smidge different. I think it's really neat. However, I do think this has its fair share of issues that I'd like to see worked out. Again, if you end up liking this and wanting it, I don't think you'll be dissatisfied, but I would say that from a build standpoint and like a good practice standpoint, there are a lot of things here in which I would change. The tray mechanism is something I've always thought is interesting, and I've always brainstormed on how this particular slide-in mechanism would be possible. I think the idea of it's really cool. I do not think it was done the best here. Obviously, putting it in is its own struggle, but then when you go to take it out, yeah, you can take out the switches on the hot swap unit, but if you solder this in, this seems like the biggest pain in the butt. Let's see how this sounds now. So here's what I think could have been the better way to do this. You could have left everything the same. What I would have done, just change the entire back piece here to kind of separate, and you can still have it slide in and not have to worry about the switches touching the tops. I would have, again, just take the top out, take the bottom out, and kind of made it a larger piece instead of just this, you know, elongated, rounded off rectangle, whatever shape this is considered. That would have made more sense, because having to press down the switches and push it in, A, I feel like you're going to damage the tops here. B, that means you have to take off all the keycaps every single time you want to go into this thing, which it's not the best build decision, I'd say. And then C, one of the best things you can do as like a brand is think of the laziest thing possible, right? When I look at a product and I think, is this going to work for everyone? I then remember all the problems people have come to me with. And this sounds mean, but you have to kind of accommodate for like the person who's going to screw this up the hardest. And I can already tell you there's going to be someone here who is just like, they're not paying attention. They're going to yoink out things. Things are going to go broken on the PCB. You have to kind of accommodate for that level of person who is not going to give a shit about doing things properly. Yes, it's their own fault, but I think a good product accommodates for that. Not every product has to. Overall, the board looks really cool. Like, I love the way this turned out. This little window into what you're doing. I think this looks really cool. I like the fact that it has this kind of almost like a port. It almost looks like a spaceport of some sort. I really like that. The shape of the board's interesting. It reminds me again of the Boop, the capsule a little bit. It's neat. The back of the board with these grills kind of looks fun too. I like the gold hardware. I think the USB-C is centered, but they had to obviously offset the SD card reader. I think this looks cool too. The bottom of the board looks fun. It's no frills, no thrills here. All right, let's find some keycaps and dress this bad boy up. Overall, it's an interesting project. Out of all the projects we've seen recently, truly something interesting. I like the fact that they dared to do something different. It doesn't necessarily match what I would want to be completely different, but it's a cool product. Is Matthew in chat? I think they did pre-orders for X-Ray, right? And we'll go get a GMK spacebar just to compare as well. You know, the alphas don't sound bad. This needs to be addressed. I feel like even if you shift over this, then this would have really large gaps on the left and right side. Because I feel like this is proper. This looks like it's the right gapping over here. But then this looks like it just needs to be, I don't know, man. I feel like this is just incorrectly machined or something. I don't know I don't know if it's machining or just the alignment's a little off. The actual sound profile is not bad. Let's see it plugged in and see how bright this RGB can get. Ooh, yeah, it's pretty nice. I really enjoy the RGB implementation on this. I am so conflicted with this because right now there's just a lot of things about the board that I don't think are 100%. Like, I really think there's some questionable decisions. There's some stuff that it's hard to really recommend parts of the board, but they have a lot of fun things about the board too. I really like this implementation of RGB. And if that means I have to sacrifice a little bit of front height, then I'm fine with that. It is centered, but there are large gaps on the left and right side. So maybe we did something while we pushed this in incorrectly, which I highly doubt. Well, actually, that makes no sense because then this wouldn't be aligned. So I don't think it's us that's causing the gap here. So I don't think it's an us problem. And all this is dead straight too. Yeah, because there's no better way we can align this. This is perfectly aligned. We'll leave it like this for now. Let's do a typing test. Quality of life needs to be like completely revamped on here. Me being really critical right now, I think the tray aspect of this keyboard adds absolutely nothing to this keyboard. I think it was maybe intentionally supposed to be like, all right, guys, like we can have this tray that you just take out and you can edit your things and push it back in. I don't think it truly adds a single bit of convenience to this keyboard. In fact, I would actually argue in its current state, it does the opposite. We haven't even done a typing test on it yet. Let's see what it sounds like, shall we? It's fun. There's a lot of cool things about it, but God, the flex on this is crazy. Do you guys see that? You know, it's actually not uncomfortable. This sounds way better than some of the builds I've seen with the silicone being put inside of it, because this is supposed to go inside too. No, the spacebar is a little dry, and I think it's just the mounting point under the spacebar with those extremely thin gaskets. Let's try an Obscura, and then I'm also going to grab a GMK spacebar just to see what that sounds like too. You can still hear the mounting point. You can hear this sharp thud. It's a very sharp, like, bottom out. It's better with this. Really, I actually really enjoy these alphas right now. These alphas sound phenomenal. I really do like the alphas. Believe it or not, here, because there's no mounting point here on the corners, but where there is a mounting point, you can see there's no flex. See how there's none here? But when you touch here, it moves. Here, nothing. Here, because there's a mounting point, nothing. Here, there's a little bit of a mounting point here, but it goes right on the mounting point right over here. You can hear the mounting points. Maybe the mounting points should have just been, could even had a really long mounting point here for all I care, but here and here, that's where they should have been, or they should have extended out and protruded out a little bit more. Overall, it's not bad. Once you get it assembled, it's not absolutely, awful, but there are a lot of things that would change. And why isn't the LED saving? So it does look like this is not saving too, which might be a vial problem or a PCB problem or some sort of memory problem on the PCB, just not remembering things. I wonder if we change the layout, will that change if I unplug it too? They seem like a really cool brand. I like the way they've kind of handled themselves so far. I want to see them do this board better though. I want to see like iterations of this change or just small little quality of life things done, because I do think this is going to be fun in the future. I think they really want it to be unique. It could definitely work. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can be unique and still have it function properly, right? I feel like I've been very, 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 very critical on this board, hopefully in a nice, calm, appropriate manner. But I do think there's a lot of stuff that could be taken away from this, like ideas, and then be implemented into a better version.